All right, everybody. Welcome to the Revenue Agency Podcast. My name is Brittney Hall, and I am so excited because my other half, which I don't even like saying half, because I'm not a half and you're not a half. My partner in all things life and business is my husband, Ryan Hall. So, hey, Ryan.
Your other whole.
My other whole. I'm a whole and he's a whole.
There's a lot of
There's a lot of innuendo, maybe, that could be. I don't know. That's probably, you know what? We might need to edit that out.
Okay, restart. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. This is Brittney and Ryan Hall.
Yeah.
I'm Ryan.
Yes, that is Ryan. And we are excited to be here. I love doing podcasts with Ryan because we always have the most random conversations. But today we actually are going to be talking about something that we both probably feel really passionate about because we've had this happen to us multiple times. And I posted about it the other day and I got a lot of feedback on my story. And so here's a little backstory. Ryan and I went to an event last week. I might back it up even farther than that, right? How many business events have we been to in the last decade?
Decade?
A lot.
50? 40?
A lot. So many.
Lot.
So many when we were growing our own business, so many for other people. Gosh, there's just been so many things that we've gone to. And what those events bring in is a lot of people who are either looking to network, looking to grow, looking to learn, but they're there really to get something, right? Wouldn't you say that's probably true? That's why people go. Maybe they go out of obligation. Somebody invited.
I mean, there might be a few people that go, it's like, hey, our company's paying for us to be here. But I think there's a lot of people that are really trying to go looking for something.
Yeah. So I think we've just had so many conversations with so many kinds of people at these types of events. And it was just hilarious. We went to Aspire in Dallas, Texas last week. We only stayed like 2 hours, but the two people we saw a client of ours. So it was great. He was amazing. Love catching up with him. He's great. But then somebody came up to us and was just started telling us all about themselves and like name dropping people. Like what he was doing is he was trying to tell us that he has a high status, which if you have to come into a conversation telling someone how wonderful you are, my first inclination is you're not that great and I don't want to do business with you because I find you annoying. Like, just so you know, that's how that's coming across. I find it typically worse with men than women. Women have their own things too. So this isn't to like, put down men, but I find that men have a lot of ego a lot of times coming into things, a lot of more dominant ego. And it was just, that was kind of like, that was our first interaction. I don't know, Ryan, what would you say about that first interaction?
It's just interesting how people come up and they just start telling you about who they are and how, or what they do, who they are, who they know, how they, a lot of times they'll tell us about how they can help us. It's like, well, you haven't even asked us a question.
It's like, you don't even know my first name.
I might be actually dying tomorrow and you can't help me. But you're like, oh yeah, I got a long-term plan for you. It's like, bro, it's over.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. And so that was the first interaction we had. And then we're like literally sitting towards the back in like the corner. And we're just like, we don't sit next to anybody. There's a couple seats between us. And one of the guys is like going through his pitch. And it was very, very brilliantly crafted. I'm studying his pitch. I'm taking notes because I was just like, this is so smart. This guy is so smart. And then some guy down from me starts talking about how he knows the real story and blah, 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 like saying all this stuff. Also, another person did not know my name, did not know what we were there for, had no idea who we were. And he starts telling us how he knows the real deal and he wishes he could tell all these people and like something that they leave out. Like, I don't know. But what I do know is the man on the stage who's doing the pitch has been extremely successful, is very diversified, has multiple companies doing millions to billions in revenue. He's in lending, like just you could tell from the guy on stage that he was sharp and he was smart. He didn't come across to me as like a bullshitter because there's definitely those. Mm-hmm. And I thought this guy's not sleazy at all. Like this is just so smart how he's giving his whole presentation. And this guy is just going off about it. And then he starts telling Ryan and I about, well, he's talking to me because Ryan won't even look at him. And Ryan's on the other side of me. And then he goes, is this your husband? He goes, well, tell him to look it up, and starts basically really super chauvinistic about how, since it has to do with money, this falls into my husband's lane, which also pisses me off. Because I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like, I'm just so turned off by the whole thing. So I don't know, Ryan, what do you want to say about that interaction?
Again, it's just
a bigger theme, right? Well, there's a bigger theme here. We just want to
yeah.
tell you about these two, the only two conversations we had.
Yeah, this is the backstory. Again, another situation where we're just sitting there minding our own business, taking our notes, listening to the speaker on stage who is really sharp and has exited a company for over $1 billion. So it's like, this guy probably knows some stuff. I want to listen to him. And then a guy 3-4 seats down starts talking to us about auto loans and how we need to look up this GAP. Those aren't the letters, but like some acronym of that's really what it is. And then he's, like Brittney said, he's talking to her because I'm like, bro, I don't care. And then starts telling me, I just start ignoring him. I'm looking forward. And then he pulls it up on his phone. He's like, see this right here? He's like, tell your husband and look at this.
Yeah, because God forbid, a woman knows anything about finances.
It's just so interesting how people assume they know more than you. It's like we could literally be the next speaker on stage. He doesn't know. And we could have sold our company for $2 billion and it's in auto loans. Like literally he has no idea, but he's telling us all about it. So I kind of chuckle to myself and I'm like, oh yeah, tell me more. Like that's kind of how my mind is, where Brittany's like, I can't get out of this conversation fast enough. I'm going to have to fake,
I'm going to fake a heart attack. Like I'm going to fake my own death at this point to get out of this conversation.
We'll pay the ambulance bill. It's worth it.
Yeah, I am allergic to those conversations. Like I am scoping for my exit so hard. And Ryan's just like, oh, like whatever, man. Because Ryan doesn't have any energy for it. And I'm just like, get me the hell out of here.
But here's what's funny. And this is off topic, so I don't want to dwell on it. But why is it that when a person like that, who's rude, I think we can all agree that this person's rude. He's just he's just completely monopolizing our time. Like we could be talking to each other or we want to be doing something else. And this guy he literally won't shut up. He will not stop talking.
He won't leave us alone.
We were like 6 or 7. Oh, interesting. Really deep into it. Okay. Right. But why is it that we would feel like we were maybe being rude if you're like, hey, listen, I don't want to hear your shit. Like, just stop talking. Like, why would we feel rude about that when it's like, he's rude?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's like, I don't want to put the guy down. Maybe it's I also don't want to put us on some pedestal. Like, oh, we have such high emotional intelligence. Because obviously we're irritated with the guy. But I think the bigger theme here is this isn't about us bitching about people or saying how we're better or whatever. But I think it's a really great awareness. And I can tell you that in years past, I had maybe more of this type of ego-driven conversations because I maybe felt like I had something to prove in certain rooms that I was in. I don't think I was ever that obnoxious. I don't, because it's just, I'm not like that. Like I'd rather just not talk than be telling everybody like vomiting at about how wonderful I am. But I know that I have come at conversations with more ego and even it's the ego that really kind of flares up where I want to tell that guy, like, he was like, on your home loan, your auto loan. And I was like, dude, we don't even have loans. Like, you don't even know. Like, I wanted to literally just shut him down so hard, which is probably part of my wiring, my personality, but it's also really my ego that it's like, I want to prove to this guy that he's an idiot. But I didn't. So I believe that's growth and maturity because none of us have ever arrived, right? I mean, I'm 38 years old. I keep trying to get a little bit better in all of these situations, but that's what my ego wanted to do. I basically wanted to tell the guy that he's a fucking dipshit and just shut, what are you doing? But I guess I don't actually have a mean spirit towards people, even though in my head I might be saying that, or I might say it to Ryan. I would never actually say that to somebody. But in my head, I'm like, dude, it's like that kind of coaching side of me where I'm like, you're effing up. If you're coming into rooms like that and talking to people like this, you're never going to attract the person to do business deals with that's at a high level or at a higher frequency, because this is such low frequency shit that the way that you're going about it. Because it's like, it was just such a turnoff. Never hey, what are y'all here for? Are you local? Go into a conversation and be like, hi, I'm Brittany. What's your name? Nice to meet you. Have you been to this before? What are you here for? Are you here for business growth? What industry are you in? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. How's that going? How long have you been in business? Like, you got to get to know people, because then you don't, like, if you're there for networking, not everybody's a fit for what you're doing. So you got to get to know people and also work on your conversation skills, right? Like, you might have a great conversation with somebody that puts you at a higher frequency to go talk to somebody who might actually be a fit for what you do. But like, it was just weird. So sorry, Ryan, I just talked for a long time, but
No, it's totally weird. And so that was that. Now, kind of what we're talking about is I don't know if I read it in a book or I heard it on a podcast one time, but I heard never miss an opportunity to shut the F up, because we learn so much more, right, by listening instead of just talking about how much we know. It seems like any time I've ever in my life, and there's probably been multiple times, I was a young guy at one point and super hungry and wanted to prove myself, kind of like Brittany was talking about a few minutes ago. And it's like every single time not every single time, but a lot of times I speak up and say how much I know. And then it turns out, I don't really know that much. And, I eventually learned my lesson. Just listen, because I don't need to prove to this gentleman 3 or 4 seats down how much I know, how much money I have, how many loans we have. It's like I don't need to have a measuring contest with the guy down, like 3 or 4 people down. Like, it doesn't matter.
we're never going to see that guy again.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but it's always, I think, best to lead with curiosity, right? It's like when we assume things, we could be right, but we could also be wrong. And then when you're wrong, it's like, it just doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't feel good. And I
Feel
do
good.
think that's the other. So then it's funny, because then later we went to a dinner and there was a couple young people at our table, and they carried
Young, 18.
young. Yeah,
Young.
18, when a girl was 13, very mature for her age. And so was the boy. And I thought, they've been around, like Ryan was like, they've been raised around something because of how they carried themselves. Like, somebody who hasn't had a lot of experiences around adults or business wouldn't carry themselves in that way. And, but what's funny is this is a sign. So take these men, right, that we had these conversations with earlier, and they are probably in their 40s, and there's a lack of maturity based on how they're interacting. And then you take a 13 and an 18-year-old. Now, you would expect them to kind of tell you how wonderful they are, how much they know, because that's typical of a young person to want to prove themselves to an older person. And I would say there was less of that coming from these 2 young people at our table, maybe a little bit from the boy. And I give boys a pass too, because they're trying to become men and be, doing their thing and showing, whatever. But this young woman too, they handled themselves so well and spoke just eloquently, great conversation. And I thought, wow, like, I'm just now kind of like drawing that comparison, that it was like, here's these men in their 40s who have probably done more things, been through more just in life. You have more experiences. And they did not carry themselves nearly as well as this 18 and 13-year-old. And it's just interesting. And so that's really, I believe that we're here on this earth to continue to become the best version of ourselves every day. Just turn it up a little bit every single day. We need to be learning every day. We need to be growing more aware of how we're interacting every day. When we go through tough situations, we need to be looking at them as, what can I learn? Where was my responsibility in this? How do I need to pivot? And then becoming more and more mature. But what happens is most adults never do that. And they, like, the person who they were at 18 is who they are at 45. And that's why they're still dealing with drama, bullshit, letdowns, bad relationships, job to job, being the victim, because they never mature past that. So it's interesting. So I think that I would just say with a lot of people is, next time you have a social interaction, I would really encourage you to be aware of, are you telling or are you asking? Because that is the key.
I think that's really good. And I think it's also good to not compare. I think it would also be good to say that, because, for example, let's say our son plays football. Okay, so let's say, our son made this many tackles. And instead of the person who I was telling that to, which I probably wouldn't unless it was like a family member, but instead of the person saying, "Oh, that's really great," that's how I think the appropriate response would be. "Oh, that's really great. Sounds like he really works hard. Good for him."
Yeah.
Oh, well, my son. Oh, this is the opposite. Oh, well, my son plays tackle football too, and he made 9 tackles. So it's like this comparison, this one-upmanship of like, that's just. I think that's really immature to stick with that, right? So it's like, don't compare. Just be curious. You don't need to prove yourself, because chances are the person you're talking to isn't really paying attention to what you're saying anyway. You know what I mean? They're just thinking about themselves and how they look.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's really interesting because we've had like a couple of these things come up in the last week, and one was in a business setting. And then we have like what Ryan's talking about is we've had this happen multiple times actually, because so we've lived where we're at for 3 years, but that's still relatively new when you're new to a community. And so, you're meeting lots of new people, trying to establish friendships and stuff. And I've left some interactions where I'm like, why was I even there? Like, not because I want to go and talk about myself, but because when you're trying to build a friendship and a relationship with somebody, it should be a 2-sided conversation. Like there's a gal that we had over the other day. I love her. She was like, she came in. I'm like, what's been going on with you? What's going on with work? How are you guys? Been on any trips? Like I'm always asking people questions about themselves because people love to talk about themselves. And I'm genuinely curious. But here's the thing that pisses me off is when people don't get to know me, because obviously I see a lot of value in it. Like that's part of like my wiring and who I am is I love authentic connection. And so I do that naturally. Now it might not come naturally. My mom would tell you this does not come naturally to her. Like she's like, well, shit, like I don't think that way sometimes, but we can train ourselves to do this. And this gal that I just love, she like looked at me, she's like, well, how are you? And like, what's been going on with you? And I love it that she's so good at this. And I thought that feels so nice to have it reciprocated because like I said, obviously it's a part of my authentic wiring. And it's really feels good to me when people do that back. And I think that it feels good probably to anybody when somebody's interested in them. But same, it's like, I always like, okay, little secret. I'm not really like the type of personality where I just like love to hear about people's kids. Like, it's just not, so I'm like, whatever. But then you'll find that I don't brag a lot about my kids either. I would rather talk about business, honestly. That's usually why I typically like to talk with, a lot of men because I'm pretty transactional, and not men in a weird way, but like I like to talk shop, and some women too. It's like, I want to hear about your business. I want to hear what you're doing. But I will ask people about their children because that's like the normal thing to do, right? It's like be interested in people. One of my very best friends, totally different personality type than me. She is all about her family. And I would be a shitty friend, and I care about her kids, love her family. But it's like, I would be a shitty friend, and it'd be not as good of a friendship if I was like not interested at all about what's going on with her kids and her, her family. It's just like, how do people learn this, Ryan? How did we learn this? I learned a lot of this in personal development and also just learning manners and being in social situations as a young person.
Yeah, I think it's manners. I think it's interacting with people. And I think a lot of it's maturity, but it's not all maturity because just like you said, the 13-year-old and the 18-year-old were really pretty good at it.
Well,
So
but
it's
maybe
like
they're more mature than the 40-year-olds.
they could be very well more mature. And I hate to, I'm definitely not the person, we are definitely not the people that are always like trashing on young kids. Like we really like young kids, right?
I'll
Like
give them a pass
teenagers.
every time. If they come at me with a little ego, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a
So I think it's,
45-year-old man, like, get your shit together. You're too fucking old to be coming across like this. Like, knock it off.
I think curiosity is was it your Uncle Bob that used to say curiosity is a sign of intelligence?
Well, Albert Einstein said that. It's one of the highest like signs of intelligence is curiosity. But it's also the root of, like, I believe, this is just me, this is not any study or anything, of that's how you build great relationships, is being curious about someone. Like, think about Ryan, when you and I were dating. I think the day that I went, it was like day 6 of our courtship. Where I went riding with you in your log truck, we talked for 14 hours straight. We just talked and asked each other questions. And like, that's how you build a relationship with somebody, even like a friendship and marriage. And it's like, we still ask each other. We've been together 17 years. I ask Ryan questions all the time. I'm always talking to him.
You can
What?
imagine. I said, you can imagine she's always asking questions.
It was
I'm like,
funny.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, you do. Well, what would the answer be if you did know? Like, I'm always, but I think that like part of the magic of our marriage and our relationship is that we talk so much. But if I was more like, if I wasn't a big communicator, I don't know if we would have as strong of a marriage because Ryan's not just like, he's a talker, but he's not just going to maybe start the conversation, you know? Turns out what I'm learning from this podcast, Ryan, is that I am wonderful.
I already knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
See, that's
think
maturity. See
communication is
that
so
answer, people? That was maturity. 20 years ago, I would have said, "Oh, I'm wonderful." That's
maybe
growth.
I'm immature. Maybe I'm
That's growth.
immature because I want Ryan to tell me how wonderful I am. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting so here's kind of like backing it up. Like I was saying, I know that that's important to me in relationships, that give and take of communication and being interested. So what I've learned as an adult is when I like in friendships, if I don't feel like that's really reciprocal, I might just start backing off and going, that's probably not a friendship that I want to keep working on. It doesn't mean I don't like them. It doesn't mean I won't do stuff with them sometimes, but maybe that's not like my person, that I want to be really close with. Maybe a great acquaintance, right? But also in the business world, like I want to work with people where when I'm communicating with them, it feels good. It feels reciprocal. It feels like they care about what we're doing, what we have to say, and we care about them. Like it's really important to me that I show our clients that like I'm listening, I understand, I seek clarity, I have their best interest. And then when we meet new people that aren't doing business with us yet, but it's a new interaction, I want to really get to know them because I want them to leave our conversation going, wow, I really liked them. That felt good. Like they were really interested in me because that's what most humans seek is they really want to be seen. They want validation. They want to have an authentic connection. And I think that is what a lot of times people are missing in business is they're either really transactional or they're very ego driven. And so when you act out of that, you're really not going to attract a very high level person. Or else it's going to be so transactional and they're going to be looking at what they can get out of you and you're looking at what you can get out of them. And I don't believe that's the foundation for a very good relationship, just in general.
Yeah, and I like that you brought it back to business because I think that's a big part of it is being curious and asking questions instead of just going in and saying, this is what I do and this is how I think I can help you. It's like, well, hold on a minute. You don't know that I needed help in that area, right? Instead of saying, getting a full picture, a full understanding of what the client needs or is trying to do or is having struggles with, and then, being honest enough to say, yeah, I think we can help you, or, you know what, that's not really for us, but we know people, like we've done that before. It's like, we don't have the capacity to help you with that, but we know a person who's extremely good at that and we'd love to send you their way. Oh, perfect. Thank you. But it's just getting that full understanding of what a person's trying to do instead of just saying, this is how we can help you. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. It's like back it down. It's interesting because I have a meeting later today with a potential client and Ryan's like, well, what are you going to talk to him about? I go, I'm just going to ask them a bunch of questions. I'm going to find out what their biggest problems are and I'm going to see if we can solve them. And that's really in business. That's really the most important thing is because people will pay you a lot of money to solve their problems. The bigger the problem, the more money they'll pay you. But if you're so busy talking about your solution before figuring out what the problem is, it's probably not going to work out because either you're going to spend your time, you're going to waste your time talking to people who don't have the problem that you solve, or like you fail to create that connection. So it's just like really leveling up your skills is what it is in conversation. There's an acronym for it too. It's so funny I learned this in network marketing, but it's also in books. Like somebody that taught it to me got it out of something, but it's FORD. Do you remember this, Ryan?
I remember the acronym. I don't remember what it stood for.
I know now that I'm like, oh, am I going to remember all four? But it's like F is like, what do you do for fun? O is your occupation. Maybe F wasn't fun because I think R is recreation. So maybe like hobbies and things like that. Oh, F is family, occupation, recreation, and your dreams.
Dreams is such a cool one.
Such a cool one. But here's the thing. That kind of the order of that that's kind of like as the conversation goes deeper. Like, it's very much easy to go, hey, and it's normal. Hey, well, do you have kids? You know, are you married? Like, tell me about your family. Are you single? That's such an easy question, right? But hey, tell me what your dreams are. That's fucking weird if you open a conversation with that. Like, if somebody came up to me and said that, I'd be like, who are you? Like, like, you're weird.
Yeah,
Like,
you
don't
are wacky.
you are wacky. Like, do not talk to me about that. Like, that's odd. But if we're talking and, you know, we're going through different things, how's your family? Now tell me, what do you do for work? Oh my gosh, that's so interesting, you know, and then you elaborate on that. And then, what do you do for fun? Cool. Well, you know, I know you're here, like, you know, you're interested in building your business. Like, what's your dream? What are you really trying to do? Now, see, that's a natural progression. See, Ryan, I should be teaching this stuff.
Why aren't you teaching this?
I've taught it. I need to reteach it. People need to know this stuff. It's so simple.
It's so simple, but it's so It's so good. It's so effective. And it's not like trying to get something from somebody. It's seeking understanding. Where did we hear that? Like, seek first understanding.
I don't know. It might be 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, honestly. Might be that book by Jim Dethmer. That's a great book. It's a great book.
Everybody should get it and read it.
I listened to it and it was really good. And but that's a great one because it actually helps you level up. That's the thing that most people are missing, is they're spending their time going to all these networking events and all these things, which is great. You want to meet people, but your conversation skills are so bad and your presence is not great, but like, you can work on that. Like, you can create a better presence, create better conversation, have better questions to ask, and really skill up in your communication. Because guaranteed, if either one of those guys, here's what they had. They had like a charisma about them. They were outgoing. Obviously, they were confident, and that's an attractive energy. But the shit that was coming out of their mouth was such a freaking turnoff. I was like, I can't get away from this person fast enough. And so that was my first 2 interactions. And I was like, I'm leaving this event, because if this is a room full of these people, I'm out. Like, I don't want to be here any longer. Like, it's just too much, you know? So maybe somebody needs to start doing events like with higher level people. I will say, Craig Siegel, great room to be in, great people, high level, awesome people, authentic people who really care. I would have to say that Craig Siegel's event was one of the best ones I've been to in a long time. Not people who are just trying to get something out of, but there was an intentionality behind the room. And so, you know, shameless plug for Craig, but he has another one coming up in October. And so I'm pumped to be in that room again because we connected with really wonderful people. So,
yeah, it really was like a different crowd.
Yeah.
He must do a really good job of, what does he call it?
Curating it.
Curating. Yeah, I was gonna say cultivating, but yeah, curating. You know. So, be curious when you go to an event. Be curious. Yeah.
I think too, the last thing, I guess we can kind of wrap this up because we're almost at 30 minutes, but I remember too, and this goes to that. I mean, we talked about in-person interactions, right? But here's the other thing that I find that people really struggle with this, but you can use the same skill on social media. When you're freaking coming into people's DMs that you've never met, like, do not cold pitch. Like, I mean, there's a way to do it. I know a lot of people do it now, but it's like, or if you know someone, but you haven't talked to them recently and now you join some new company and you have a product you want to sell, like, do not hit me with the, hey girl, how you been? How's the kids? Blah, blah, blah. People see through that shit so fast. You might need to, before telling them about your product or whatever, and maybe don't ever tell them about your product, post about that shit on your timeline, but build the relationship in the DMs. Like, people are missing that so bad. It's like, you don't ask somebody on a date and then the next time ask them to marry you. You date them. You have to build trust. You have to build a relationship with people. It's no different in business. And so, yeah, I don't know. It makes me nutty because people just think it's like, oh, I just met you. Let's sleep together. It's like, no, like, hello, like, my name's Brittney. Like, what? It's just wild to me. But people really could use a lot of work on that.
Well, I think that's one thing you really learned a lot in network marketing is its relationships, and this. Yeah. It was so much more important than just the transaction, right? Yeah. And it's still, you're not just trying to get, like, it's genuine. You're not trying to get something out of somebody. When you just cold message somebody, it's like you're just trying to get something out of them, and it doesn't feel good. And like, all this stuff and these DMs and everything have been around long enough. Everybody sees right through it.
Yeah.
You get a cold message. It's like, hey bro, like, I haven't talked to you for a while. Like, what's new? It's like, dude, we've never met. I don't know you. at all. But you're
No.
just coming in like I'm your bro. Like, not really. How about like comment,
Well,
say
and
something like,
right.
"Hey,
Would you
I saw this on your post, and that's really cool. I like that," and leave it.
Yeah. And then leave it. Like if somebody came up to you in the grocery store that you've never met and was just like, "Hey bro, how's it going?" Wouldn't you be like, "What the fuck?" Like, I'm not telling you how it's going. I don't even know who you are. Are you on drugs? Like
Mhm.
that would be a weird behavior for somebody. So it's like if it would be weird face to face, it's freaking weird on social media.
Mhm.
Like it's weird. So
It's
yeah,
like, I think
yeah.
well, I was gonna say, I think people kind of, disconnect from social media like it's not actually talking to a person. It's just like, "Oh, I'm just
Yeah.
typing a message." It's like, "No, you're not. There's a person on the other side of that you wanna do business with probably, and the way you're sending that message is a real turnoff." Like, that person might block you or, like, they don't wanna talk to you. It's like
Yeah.
somebody comes up to you into the grocery store is weird. It's like, I can't get away from this person fast enough.
Yeah. It's freaking weird. Yeah. Um, and that's exactly you. Thank you for making that point because that's what my original thing. And then you know how I get off on tangents is you have to remember there's a heartbeat. Like there's a person, a human being, a warm body
Mhm.
behind that profile that has a whole life and a lot going on. Like it's funny. I got somebody's pitching me in my email for some service and they're like, "Hey, just checking if you saw this or blah blah blah. Are you ignoring me?" It's like I don't have any reason to pay attention to you. You have created zero value for me. Like, why would I give you my time? It's just, I don't know. It's just interesting. I think that a lot of people have a lot of room for improvement, myself included, always, right? I mean, we're not perfect, but I do have a lot of experience in this space. And I've had really great results with building relationships and turning relationships into business deals and having really great friendships and relationships that have bloomed out of this and people that I've really cared about. And yeah, so I hope this brought awareness. I think that was like the biggest thing that I was hoping for. And I know my post that I did the other day on social media, I had multiple people that were like, "This is a great reminder." No, think about it. Like, what do kids do when you try to tell them what to do? They're like, "No." So that's humans at our most basic level. So what is an adult going to do when you come up and you just start telling them things? There's something that happens instinctively in us that's like, whoa. But if you ask somebody a question, your brain wants to go find an answer. And then you want to give the answer. And so now you've opened up this space to have conversation and you've brought the walls down. So I guess I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, and I want to say, hopefully everybody stayed to the end of this, so you could hear this. This is genuinely not us on our soapbox talking about how we know how to interact and other people don't. There was a little bitch session in there, right? But to wrap this up with a bow, it's just, hey man, we're trying to get better, and we want you to get better, and like, let's move this ball down the field. You know what I mean? It isn't like, hey, we're so good and y'all suck. It's, we're trying to get better. Come with us. This is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really, I think, is, when we joke and like you said, we bitch, but it's like really the heart of it is like, I was thinking about these guys and I thought, dude, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. If this is how you're coming into these interactions, like you're not going to really get very far. And
Missed
so,
opportunities.
yeah, missed opportunities. And the thing is like, if you're putting out energy, like make sure that it's working for you. Like you want to have that return. So, anyways, thank you so much for listening to us today. Go ahead, subscribe to our channel. We drop these episodes every Wednesday, and maybe Ryan will come back with me next week. What do you think, Ryan?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you next time.